Hello, Probert!
Howdy, howdy.
And welcome to But It Was Aliens, the extraterrestrial comedy podcast where myself, Moonwalker, and my partner in extraterrestrial mystery, Kevin the Grey, take a look at alien mysteries and decide whether they are in fact alien, for your safety and also for the rest of humanity. If you're listening to us, you get priority. The host for today is myself, Moonwalker, and sitting over for me is the Grey One. How are you today, son?
I am glorious.
Glorious! So we're going to start today's file a little differently to normal. I'm going to have you watch a very short video to start. So if you can click the link provided, please.
Oh, this is different. I don't believe we've done this before.
The video's logo right here. Well, instead of that, you just drop in your own logo.
Bloody adverts.
It used to be that if you want this level of professional
Skip ad!
you either have to
Peace out, y'all.
It's into an international story, though, is this home video.
Woo! There's look at them all.
I got that on a video.
There's four of them. Look at there's three of them all together.
Home video, in which you can clearly see the mysterious lights just hovering in the sky.
Major sighting
Oh, shit.
here.
Well, at first, a mystery. Investigations attributed the lights in the sky to a combination of planes and military flares. But Kitai doesn't believe it.
They're all in
Say
line.
that flares, military illumination flares, that traverse the entire state in a rock-solid, mile-wide V, equidistant formation for hours.
Kitai says there's even been news sightings. This is a CGI rendering of what one man recently saw flying over Prescott, a craft very similar to what people first reported seeing 17 years ago today. For ABC 15, I'm Nick Van Zandt.
Ooh. Ooh.
Quite an intriguing video, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, aliens, let's go home.
We're done. So that video is courtesy of ABC 15, Arizona.
Arizona.
And as you clearly heard, Kev just said, but it was aliens. And we are done. So, thank you, probers. It's been an absolute treat.
Do you know what? I've heard about this case a lot, but I've literally always avoided it because I knew that we were going to do it at one point.
Yeah.
And I've always, because obviously we've got a spreadsheet of all the cases we're planning to do, and we put our name beside it. I've always thought, should I go and stick my name beside this? Didn't know you'd already done it. So I'm very glad I haven't looked into it yet.
This file that we're talking of is the Phoenix Lights. This case takes us to Phoenix, Arizona, and the date is March 13th, 1997. The time? Between 7:30 and 10:30 p.m.
Oh, but it did look convincing.
At this time, a group of lights were seen flying over Phoenix before they vanished.
That wasn't a group of lights, that was a ship.
This wasn't just one event though, it was two. And this lasted a few hours. And these weren't seen by just a handful of people. Oh no, no, no. These were seen by thousands. Yes, thousands.
Hot damn. Hot damn. Oh, hot damn.
You're in already.
I'm double foot.
I think we should just end this here.
Are you going to shit on your own parade at the end?
No.
And get me
no.
out.
I mean, you've already said it. There's not much else that needs to be said. You've verified.
You showed me a pretty convincing damn video. I mean, I don't know what else that could be. Why would, like, you see military crafts flying in formations, admittedly, but their lights don't look like that in the dark. I see military crafts flying over here. Mm-hmm. They don't look like that.
Nope.
And they, even when they fly in formation, there's little variations, obviously. That was bang on. That could have been one craft.
So these two distinct events were a triangle formation of lights that were seen to pass over the state and a series of stationary lights seen over Phoenix. Initial reports came in from a gentleman reporting to have seen a V-shaped object above Henderson, Nevada. He said it was about the size of a Boeing 747 and sounded like rushing wind. This craft also had 6 lights on its leading edge. What immediately came to mind for me was the Mighty Ducks Flying V. Imagine those as lights.
It's not what came to my mind.
What a great film.
I don't know whether it's because I may have had a couple of drinkies today, but I'm not feeling skeptical. I feel like you needed to convince me that wasn't aliens.
A former police officer from Polston, Arizona, is claimed to have been the next person to report a sighting. As he was driving north, he allegedly saw a cluster of reddish or orange lights in the sky, comprising of 4 lights and 5 lights straining. This is a quote from Bill Greener. Thanks, Bill.
Big Bill.
I'll never be the same.
Voice.
I'll never be the same. Before this, if anybody had told me they saw a UFO, I would have said, yeah, and I believe in the Tooth Fairy. Now, I've got a whole new view, and I may be just a dumb truck driver, but I've seen something that don't belong here. I have no idea if people from that area sounds like that.
I don't think they do, but
But
we're going with it.
fudge it. So the lights were also reported by a pilot who was out flying his private plane with his son.
Son?
That pilot is none other than Snake Plissken himself,
What?
Mr. Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell saw this.
Yep,
What?
Kurt Russell reported this.
Can we stop calling them the lights and just call it the alien from here on out? Or the mothership? I'll accept mothership.
You'd accept mothership.
Although, hold on, was it big enough to be mothership? The alien vessel. Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Oh, what a
Snake
trustworthy man.
Plissken. So Mr. Russell explains that he was flying his son to his girlfriend when he saw the lights. Unsure of what it was, he called it in,
Good man.
dropped his son off,
Good man.
and thought nothing of it until a few years
Years?
later. He saw his wife Goldie, yes, the Goldie Hawn, watching a TV show about it. Another witness who wanted to remain anonymous said he'd never seen anything like it. This thing was a mile wide and completely silent. While it did emit some sort of fume from the exhaust, he's never seen anything even close to the colours that came from it.
It had an exhaust.
What strikes me is, how would you know a new colour? If you know what I mean. You would think of it as
Yeah.
if you look in the colour spectrum, you'd go, well, it's a bluish green, it's a...
Can we
Green.
even see things that aren't in our colour spectrum?
That's what I mean.
I don't know that we can.
That threw me.
Okay, that's thrown me a little bit. I've now got 1.5 feet in, and on top of that, the exhaust fumes. We know that often alien crafts don't have a noticeable exhaust, which is
That is true.
suggesting they may be travelling via means we don't yet understand. If this had an exhaust, I am leaning slightly back towards military rather than... Like, there was no doubt that shit wasn't just lights in the sky. That was something. Mm-hmm. But what it was... Okay, I'm going to have to pull out.
The thing is, I know you want to pull out, but that video has got you so far in. What the fudge was that?
That's my back.
Damn, son.
That was
So-
the doubt popping out of me. I'm in!
So someone we've investigated before also witnessed these lights.
You better not say frickin' Romanek.
If you remember, good old John Thumb.
John Thumb. What a name. What a bad guy.
The problem I have here is that we've called him John Thumb so much.
You can't
I
remember.
forgot his last name.
John Bitch? He's in the Hall of Little Bitches, isn't he? He's one of the two.
He is.
Yeah, money grabbing mother trucker.
But I still can't remember his actual last name.
Well, I think we should change his first name.
No. He's staying as John Thumb.
Okay. Well, he's no John of mine. Why'd you have to bring an uncredible witness like him into it?
Because he mentioned it.
Yeah, but we know he's full of shit. Does he? Where does
Doesn't
he-
mean that this event is. He could just be trying to piggyback on the back of it, because that's the kind of thumb he is.
I can't remember where their ranch is now.
I'm sure it's in Arizona.
Is it? Okay.
I can't be bothered to look
Wait.
it up.
How big was this object? Did we
Not
get-
sure it actually gave a size, but from the video, it looks pretty damn big.
Okay.
You can Say those 4 magic words again, son, and we can have a beer in celebration. This is all the evidence you need.
No, you had me more at the start. Now you give me a couple of alternative ideas. Now I'm saying it might be aliens, but it might be military. And it didn't look to be moving the way that we've seen UAPs or UFOs move in other footage.
But it also
It was slower.
didn't
and more...
move in a way you would expect
In what way?
like a human craft, I would say, to move. What kind of craft can you think of that moves the way it did?
The X-Men vehicle? Come at me, bro.
What's the name of it? Because if you can't name it without looking it up, come at me, bro.
Can you name it?
Yes,
Can you
but I'm not
actually?
going to tell you.
But you need to prove that you can name it.
No.
Prove that you know what it is, and I'll tell you what it is.
No.
Oh.
So we're ready to move on and you're wrong? Is that what it is?
No. No. Fuck it, go on. God damn, that's going to bother me all day.
Fife Symington III, the governor, the mother effing governor at the time, was also a witness, and he claimed it was otherworldly. Now this is coming from a high, reputable governor of this state.
Yeah, but he ain't a scientist.
So he's got some clout and weight to his statement.
And a lack of knowledge.
So I'm just going to let you know a little bit about
The X-Men vehicle?
Fife and why we can believe him.
Okay.
Is in
Hit me with it!
1996,
The year of Independence Day.
Fife was indicted on 21 federal counts of extortion, making false financial statements, and bank fraud.
Okay.
He was convicted on 7 counts of bank fraud in 97, so we can trust this guy.
It could have been worse.
But if you look below, that's actually a picture of the lights, just to...
The video looked better, to be fair. I mean, they're still mind-boggling
still-
as to what they may be.
I simply chucked this photo here, just in case you hopped off board. This photo was to get you back on board.
See, in the video, it looked in such a formation that it could be one object, but in this photo, it doesn't quite look that way. In this photo, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate objects because they're out of line more so, particularly the one in the middle, and there's not more lights on the other side to balance it out.
That is true, but if you remember, I told you there was 2 events.
Yeah, and to be
one
fair, I've
was
still got no idea what that is. I'm
One
just
was a
saying.
stationary set of lights in the sky.
Do you know which event this photo's from?
The stationary set of lights. It's not the craft.
Okay, I'm confused.
But
What's the X-Men vehicle called?
I'm really not telling you. Now, in the video earlier, someone was mentioned who we can actually trust. Let me introduce you to Dr. Lynn Kitai, alien woman.
Actual alien woman?
No. You know how Dr. Quinn, medicine woman.
Okay.
I just wanted to chuck that in. Dr. Lynn was one of the original witnesses of the lights and gave evidence. Yes, evidence. But she grew frustrated at the amount of misinformation that was being put out by the media surrounding the phenomenon. So in 2004, she decided to create a website dedicated to the truth. She created a best-selling book around it and also an internationally award-winning documentary.
Ooh.
This woman is an internationally acclaimed physician and health educator who pushed aside her successful medical career to pursue the book, A Skeptic's Discovery That We Are Not Alone. This is from her own website, so you can see she's a doctor of sound body and mind.
You know when I tell you that someone's trustworthy?
Yeah, but I know your game when you say that.
Yeah, but I feel like you're playing me at my own game.
No, I would never do that.
I just keep thinking Cerebrus.
No.
I know it's not that. But my mind is fixated upon what it's called. And I keep thinking of other X-Men things.
Because you're thinking of the helmet that he puts on.
Yeah. But that's not what I'm trying to think of.
No. So this is an excerpt from her site, a review from a fellow professional. Dr. Lynn Ketai courageously offers truth and honesty on the most important and most witnessed UFO case ever experienced. Officials offered ridicule, obfuscation, and outright lies in response to legitimate questions and inquiry. Enter here for knowledge and light on the lights. I put my trust in Dr. Ketai, who never exaggerates and bravely offers her cure for all of us whom the government and military deceived. That's from Paul Davids, executive producer of Roswell.
So he's predisposed to be into aliens.
This is from Paul Davids, executive producer of Roswell. Have you seen it? Me neither. But it's Paul.
I've seen some of the Roswell TV show.
I don't even know if it's the Roswell TV show.
To be fair, there'd be different producers for every episode, wouldn't there? Or shit. Okay.
Now, this happened in 97, and it took her 7 years to come forward. Now, you're wondering what took her so long, right?
Well, I am now.
Well, in an interview in Beyond the Phoenix Lights, she says, this topic is not only controversial, but those who did come forward were quickly ridiculed, harassed, and discredited. I felt I needed to educate myself to what was really going on before I could even think about sharing it. Part of this process was to get all the photo evidence she'd been collecting since 1995. Yes, 95. She was ahead of the game.
What? When did this happen again?
So this happened in 97.
97 was it? I thought it was 96.
Or 97.
But she... What? How can she get photos of something before... She's a time wizard.
She had to get the evidence analysed and authenticated by the right authorities, and this is taken from an interview conducted in 2015. She states that 20 years later, her 35mm data still can't be explained or denied.
She sounds ever so slightly obsessed. But how can you get photos of things that haven't happened yet?
So maybe she'd seen UFOs and things
Which concerns me.
beforehand.
Which suggests that she had a bit of an obsession, which makes me wonder whether she's tying this event to her own pre-existing narrative.
Or maybe she just saw it.
Or maybe she didn't.
I think she did.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll appreciate your take on this thus far, as this is your case. You've looked into it far deeper than me. I can only go on what you're presenting to me. But I'm not fully convinced of her myself, unless she admits that she's a time wizard.
Taken from the same interview, she says that when thousands more saw the phenomenon in 1997, it led her to start gathering the most credible information she could find, which then ended up being a 750-page journal, which she condensed into 250 pages. This became the first edition of Phoenix. The book at the time of the interview was in its 3rd edition. Currently on her website, it's in an expanded edition, and the response to her book was so positive that she left her job as chief clinical consultant at the world-renowned Arizona Heart Institute to start a documentary about it.
Okay.
So we can clearly see it must have been financially rewarding, as I can't see someone leaving such a prestigious job to chase this. And to be fair, the documentary actually went on and won a few awards too, such as Best Documentary at the 2005 International Sci-Fi Film Awards. Documentary has been updated and released as The Phoenix Lights, Beyond Top Secret, as well as the release of a colouring book and graphic novel. As you can see, it's very lucrative, as it's been branched off into different avenues.
Yeah, that's usually an alarm bell for us, but I would like to balance that out a little bit in that she had quite a decent job. She could have earned very well and been financially stable, and therefore she's chosen to go into a field of passion with that financial stability, which obviously you wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
Nope.
So it could be, again, I'm not saying that means that it's fully accurate because this is something she wants to believe. So she could look at something and see something different to what I see looking at it because she's already predisposed.
Yeah,
What?
I get
She
that.
wants to believe it, and
She wants to believe that that's a UFO.
whereas I see a
she's seen.
shoe hanging on a telephone wire.
If you take a picture of a lamppost at the right angle,
Yeah,
you can
funny you say that.
claim that's
I've got that exact thing saved on my phone at the moment. I was going to send you at some point.
I think I may have saved the same picture.
Damn it. But yeah, she's obviously made a second career out of this. But to be fair, I would happily make a second career out of what we're doing.
Yeah, same.
And that doesn't mean that I would say that everything is aliens.
Nope.
To be fair, I think we've decided that it was aliens twice, and one of those I don't know that it really was. I just got caught up in the moment. There's only one that I think is definitively unexplained that we've looked at.
To be fair, I'm on board with both of the ones we've said so far. There's the one in Mexico,
Yeah.
and the other one is the USS Nimitz, where they've
Yes.
also come out and
The
said...
Nimitz has got video footage that's absolutely mind-blowing, obviously.
And
was it Varginha
yes.
in Brazil? Yeah. But the thing that
I
worries
said
me
Mexico,
there...
didn't I?
You did, but I think it was
Brazil.
Brazil,
It was.
Marinho. But I think I kind of leant towards aliens there, not to poo-poo my own decision because I was standing by it. But it's very disturbing to think that people are just that horrid. They see a human being and they judge that it's an alien rather than someone that they is in such bad states and that could be helped.
But the thing is, it's the military saying that.
Yeah,
It's no one that
yeah.
was reported.
Obviously, we delved in it more in the episode, but like there are 2 yeses. I don't think we'd say yes to everything just because we were...
No. Do you have any other questions or theories about what we've got so far before I carry on?
Yeah, not so much a question as a statement. She released a whole lot of content, including a colouring book.
Yes.
She milked it a little bit, didn't she?
You've got to get the little kids involved, haven't you?
No, you haven't. She's milked it. Like, documentary, excellent. You're bringing information to the world. But when you start releasing...
If you want little kids to get involved and grow up to be
make you money,
UFO investigators and
then give them
actually
children's
believe what's
books.
around there. Some kids learn
Children's
better through
documentary.
colouring. Who wants to read when you can colour?
Me. I can barely colour now.
Give me a colouring book.
Give me a proper book. Staying between the lines is hard, yo.
The United States Air Force claimed that the second group of lights were flares that were dropped by an A-10 Warthog aircraft
But
on
it
a
went
training exercise.
On for several hours. I've seen a flare in life.
Mm-hmm.
That was not a pissing flare.
So the government would have you believe that this was all just flares and training exercises, but why wouldn't this be claimed before a sighting?
Yeah.
Like, for example,
They'd give people the heads up.
yeah,
Like,
hey, citizens of Phoenix, you may see some floating lights tonight. Don't worry, just a training exercise.
yeah.
See, problem solved. But that didn't happen. They were being reactive, not proactive. And in an FOIA request in
Freedom of
2019
Whoa.
by John Greenwald,
Ah, it's a strong name. You can trust a man with a first name like that. Even more so if that was his surname.
it revealed that the Air Force didn't drop any flares,
Oh shit.
nor did they have any scheduled exercises at that time.
He cut through the bullshit. See? Good old trustworthy John. You better not drop like a bombshell on me about what he's involved with on the side.
You know how I like to give you some trustworthy Johns.
Yeah, and I like to give you a brave Ms. Granville.
No, you're a bitch.
She kecked her pants.
Understandably.
Okay, so we know that it wasn't flares, so the government are obviously lying. I wonder if this will be re-examined, like, in the coming months, bearing in mind all the UFO stuff that's
Or
going
what's been
through
released, yeah.
the government and parliament and whatnot.
Skeptics have gone on record to claim that the second set of lights were in fact aeroplanes. There is some evidence to suggest this is true, but I'm not buying it. They only have some
Are you going to elaborate on what that evidence is, or are you just going to tell me that it's not valid and not present it to me?
I'm now about to tell you what it is.
You're going to show me a photo of a plane.
Just say this
You
is
can
what they
see
saw.
the captain.
On the night in question, amateur astronomer Mitch Stanley had spotted the V from his back garden and retrieved his Dobsonian?
Yes, okay.
I'm going to say Dobbs. He retrieved his Dobsonian telescope.
Could have just said telescope.
Yeah, but it's got a name. To take a closer look, he says that through this telescope, he could make out that
The
they
future.
were. He could tell. He saw Doc.
He was a time wizard.
He saw Doc. And Doc was going back.
His mum got a crush on him.
Through his telescope, he could make out that they were, in fact, individual aeroplanes. He gave his account of his observation at the Discovery Channel town hall meeting, but he was shouted down by other residents who had believed he didn't see what they saw and that he was wrong. The planes he saw are said to be the Maryland National Guard, and the reason there was no record of them being there is because their mission was classified. Classified, son. What were they chasing? Looking for?
Oh. Were they going after the first? I see your line of thought here. Okay. So they had an unknown ship in the sky, and they sent the man squad in to
The Man
check it out.
Squad. One major skeptic is a reporter, Tony Ortega. He was reporting on it at the time, and he also spoke to Stanley. He spoke to several other residents too. And these are some of the claims that he tries to debunk here. But you and I know the truth. So these are taken from an article he did for eSkeptic. So thank you, Tony, and thank you, eSkeptic.
Thank you.
So claim number 1. The V made no sound. So he debunks it, saying that's not true. And he talked to witnesses in Prescott, a quieter environment, who clearly heard jet noise. Claim number 2. The V didn't show up on radar. Debunks it. None of the UFO investigators bothered to ask for tapes from the FAA in Albuquerque, whose officials at the time told me they only kept tapes for 11 days. So we'll never know what the radar picture looked like that night.
If there was a serious incident, they'd have had that shit straight away
Would they have sent a squad?
to get the footage.
No. I thought you were on about they would have sent planes.
Oh. No, I meant as soon as this happened, they'd be looking at the aviation authority's footage, which I assume is who that authority is.
You would think so.
Yeah. I find it hard to believe that they'd have been that negligent.
Claim number 3. The 10 p.m. lights fell in front of the mountain range, so they couldn't be flares, dropped in the distance by military planes. So debunked. Videotapes taken by observers from higher elevations in the valley saw the flares for a longer period of time than those who were in lower places, confirming that the flares dropped behind the Estrellas.
If they were flares, how are they up for so long?
I have no idea, because obviously military flares and plane flares are going to be a lot stronger than a flare that you shoot up. So depending on your altitude, depends how long they take to come down. So in 2007 and again in 2008, there were 2 more sightings. However, in 2007, it was a documented training drill at Luke Air Force Base, and in 2008, it was a bunch of helium balloons attached with flares set off by a resident.
Oh, this is going to be a tough one, isn't it? So obviously we don't need to consider the last 2 sightings in any particular detail.
But that's all I have for you. So this will be your...
Piss.
I mean, you said it at the start.
Yeah,
So-
but then I learnt more.
And you still think the same thing?
I'm not sure that I do now. I think to leave the footage, they must have already known what it was. Because if they truly didn't, they'd have wanted that footage. So I'm now thinking that it might have been something military. I don't know what. I'm not convinced by flares at this point for the first event. I would be flabbergasted if flares could move like that and for so long. And surely they'd know. You'd be able to bloody prove it, wouldn't you, in videos and whatnot. Flare is a flare. That didn't look like a flare.
Nope.
But then that doesn't mean that it isn't some sort of military craft. And again, I come back to that exhaust. Do I need to make my conclusion now? I do. Ah, you little bitch. I don't think that I can say it as aliens then. Yeah. I mean, I'm not as confident as I would usually be, but I do feel that it's more likely to have been military in origin rather than alien in origin due to that exhaust fume and the other factors I just mentioned.
Like maybe testing something new out.
Yeah.
Like a drone, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm not saying that it was aliens, but I am saying that it's interesting. And it could have been something that we don't know about, but of man-made origin.
Okay. Well, it is an interesting piece, but it's not aliens for me.
I wasn't sure which way you were going to go.
Visually, it looks incredible, but TV stations and local news have run with it for ratings.
Yeah.
To increase revenue. And don't get me started on Alien Woman. I don't know what her situation was at work, but she made a very lucrative career change here. I think the fact that the media poured fuel on it and the military had no record of a training mission made the situation worse. And the fear of the people was too much for them to listen to reason, which unfortunately made people turn on Mitch. And I 100% believe him and Tony. News stations don't care about truth, they care about views.
Yeah.
So if running with it could bring more eyes to them, then that's a win. And the same with some of the reporters. I'm assuming here that if it was their work covering it, and it in turn made the company more money, then the better their prospects. So thank you for flying with us on this file. We hope you enjoyed the ride.
Yeah, it was. I feel like this was a serious one, actually. It's very interesting.
It was... See, because you're normally so sceptical, I didn't expect you... I put that bit at the start and I didn't expect you to jump on board straight away.
That video, though, it was good.
It is intriguing.
Yeah, obviously, it's when you get the subsequent information that your understanding is formed.
Yeah. What I will do is when we put our Facebook posts up and stuff like that, I will put the link on our page so you can see it there. And you can find us on Twitter at But It Was Aliens. You can find us on Instagram at But It Was Aliens Podcast. And you can find us on Facebook at But It Was Aliens. And you can join our group on there called Extraterrestrial Towers,
where you'll see this video
Yep.
when you hear this episode.
We chuck up memes every now and again, questions, polls, just a bit of banter, and you can chat with like-minded individuals. You can let us know if you agree with some of our conclusions or disagree.
Tell us how awful our accents are.
You can tell us, but there's no need to tell us because we already know they're bad. If you think you may have seen the Phoenix Lights,
I just did.
think you may have been one of the lights. Think this is all a cover-up and one of us was the pilot of the craft and accidentally crashed it?
You.
Probably. #probe. Peace.